Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us to talk about how we are going to be leveraging data to help build a high visibility SaaSOps practice. Thank you so much for joining us for this time. I'm so excited to kick it off. And with that, we'll start with introductions. My name is Julia Floric, and I'm a group product manager here at BetterCloud. I've had the pleasure of serving the BetterCloud community for the past 4 years. And I was so thrilled whenever I was presented the opportunity to work on how we can better leverage data and insights to serve the needs of IT. And with that, I'll pass it to Sean to introduce himself.
Thanks, Julia. My name is Sean Chaudhry, and I am the Director of Data and Analytics here at BetterCloud. I've been at BetterCloud for 5.5 years, and I've had the pleasure to see our data mature from not even capturing product data or application data to building a best-in-class centralized database where we're disseminating insights both internally and to our customers. We're really excited to show what amazing things we built for you.
So to get us started, today in this session, we're going to be talking about what we're noticing in the IT community, the needs that data could serve, and then we'll move into how we have actually started to embark solving these problems for our trusted community, and leave off, of course, with the future and how we'll be able to continue to provide this value to you over time. So first, let's kick it off with the IT conundrum. Who on this call has ever felt overloaded or overwhelmed by the number of demands that is placed upon you in the jobs that you serve? I know I have. A lot of times it can feel like a juggling act, keeping track of all of the different things that are asked of you in the day-to-day and all of the new issues that are popping up. But to the rest of your organization, it can look like this. You're calm, you're cool, you're collected. And so it's hard to know that you're out there finding these little sparks and putting them out before they can become fires. You look like you just are moving smoothly and you're able to just keep this all afloat without any stress on the rest of the people that you're here to help. But we know that can feel like all of these new tickets coming in and your backlog continuing to grow, whether it's something new, like again, a fire that pops up, or whether it's just, hey, my organization's growing and now I need to meet the demands of scaling our workforce. We know that all of these different activities end up falling on you. And you're carrying the team on your back. This is your opportunity to shine. This is where you're keeping everything that all these demands together in a seamless way and making sure that everything's running smoothly, and you've got this. But then who has the time to sit down and feel like you're able to actually spend the required time to report and show the value that you're bringing back to your organization? I know that this is something that's time intensive, requires a lot of thought and detail, and also can be ever changing given the different things on your plate. And then that new fire pops up and you're again distracted and pulled into keeping your business afloat. And then the first thing to go in that backlog is that reporting, showing the value that you bring to your organization, articulating all of these activities that you're managing that help move business forward for the enterprises that you're here to serve. But we're here to help. And we're so excited to be able to help bring some calm to all of this chaos. Because we know our customers have set up hundreds of thousands of workflows that help keep their processes streamlined and afloat, as well as monitor all of the critical insights going on across their employee base to keep their companies secure and reduce company risk. All of these things and all of these activities are done directly in the BetterCloud platform. So again, we are now uniquely positioned to help you bring clarity to all of these activities going on and be able to help articulate that back to your business. Because for years, we've had this data, and you know this. We've been integrating with all of the different SaaS applications in your environment. We've been normalizing these insights and bringing clarity into what they mean, making it easy on you to come in and see exactly what's going on. But where we've maybe fallen short is providing those in a meaningful way. We want to give you better insights to help narrow the focus into just the things that matter for you. And to get started, we want to help you better manage your time in giving these critical insights of the value that you're bringing back to your team, back to your managers, back to your business, so that way you can continue to scale. BetterCloud's also uniquely positioned to do this because I think it's fair to say that we connect with all of the meaningful attributes and all of the things that actually matter in your day-to-day. We have your processes that you're building out and continuing to execute directly from our platform. We go out and we can bring that together with the user data, the group data, the applications, the files. We have all of these in a normalized way to be able to give you these insights like nobody else. So with that, I'm very excited to now present to you the hard work that we've been doing over the last year. I'd love to get a drum roll here and now present to you the new SaaSOps benchmarking report. This report is going to go into how you are providing the value back to your company through the activities that you're doing in BetterCloud. This is something that we've been asked for so long, and we're so happy to now have the opportunity to provide that to you. So with that, I would love to talk about how we're going to be releasing this today into a beta state. This is such an exciting announcement, and we hope you're excited as we are. But what does this mean for you? I'd love to walk you through how all of the customers that are on this call today are going to have an entitlement to receive this assessment. Within the next few weeks, you should be hearing from your BetterCloud CSM to actually give you this report that you could walk through. If you're not a customer and you're on this call, we encourage you to reach out to the BetterCloud team, and so that way we can talk through how we could provide this assessment to you in a meaningful way, or at least give you the same insights that we're able to provide throughout the rest of this report to help you, again, manage the things going on in your environment, but help articulate the value that you're bringing back to your business. For our customers, you can expect to receive this report on a quarterly cadence if you're on this call today. Thank you for joining. We're so appreciative of you taking interest in how we're evolving the platform, which is why we want to guarantee you this new piece of value. And we want your feedback. We believe that this is the customer base, and these are the people, this is the community that will be able to give us the best feedback around how this can impact you, your business, and how your team can scale. We appreciate you being here, and we can't wait to talk through how this is going to impact you. And now I'm going to pass it over to Sean to talk through the details of the report.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Julia, for that amazing introduction. Okay, so we've given you the background about why we think this report is so valuable, but we know, as Julia said, that you're really excited to hear what exactly is going to be in this report that you can rely on to show the value that you're generating at your business. So why don't we take it a step back and understand what BetterCloud solves for and how you can actually frame this report. So BetterCloud historically has been in the premier place to manage your users and your files across disparate SaaS applications. This is our bread and butter. And you use workflows to actually automate all the things you do to either onboard, offboard, understand movers, file security. All these different use cases are done through workflows. So in the report, we're going to dive into these three sections. I'll cover users and files, and Julia will then dive into workflows. Let's start with users. So traditionally, IT administrators know that there are three types of users. There's joiners, movers, and leavers, or you can better know them as onboarding, midlife cycle, and offboarding. We know that these are the critical use cases that IT administrators are using BetterCloud to help automate and scale. So we're going to actually show you all the things that you're doing within BetterCloud tied to these use cases. Now I'm going to take a step back and actually explain why we think this is so valuable. Traditionally, we haven't done a good job of explaining what you're actually solving with BetterCloud and the workflows that you do and the actions you take in the grid. But we've gone on this huge effort of actually labeling workflows, going and actually taking 80,000 workflows, manually labeling them, and trying to understand, what are you doing in BetterCloud? How are you generating value for your organization? And now we're actually going to show you that with charts, with data points, and then you can actually show your peers, your manager, what's going on. So why don't we dig into this? Awesome. So the first view is a 10,000-foot view about what you're doing around users and those three different ones. There's onboarding, again, there's midlife cycle, and there's offboarding. This chart is going to show you the past 4 quarters. Everything is calendar quarters. So you'll see the most recent calendar quarter and how that stacks up against the previous 3 quarters. And you'll see, am I using, BetterCloud more for onboarding? Am I using it more for offboarding? But in addition to that, you'll really get to understand the value of how many workflows you have set up, and especially how many automated steps are configured. I'll give you some insight into what we're seeing right now. In BetterCloud, we have over 6,000 onboarding workflows and over 2,300 active offboarding workflows across our customer base. This makes sense because our customers use BetterCloud to create small onboarding workflows, let's say 2 to 3 steps, and they create very long, comprehensive offboarding workflows. So you'll see that this dummy customer here, they have 12 active onboarding workflows, but they have 78 active offboarding workflows. So this is actually an example of someone who's slightly different from the normal BetterCloud customer. But what's amazing are the steps that they have configured. 25 steps configured for onboarding, 168 steps configured for offboarding. This is a great way to show the value that BetterCloud is bringing you so that you can do these automatically and not have to rely on clicking a mouse or doing these manual steps to get these things done. Great. So we talked about it at a 10,000-foot view, but now we're actually going to dig into each use case individually, and we're going to provide some data that we've never done before. Now, something we always hear from our customers is they want to understand the ROI of BetterCloud. They want to understand how many hours am I actually saving on a day-to-day basis, a month-to-month basis, a year-to-year basis. How am I actually able to show my manager that BetterCloud is providing me the ability to do things I never could do before because I don't have to do the audit, I don't have to do the manual tasks, right? So this view for each of these use cases is going to show you the active workflows and the steps configured. We just talked about that. But in addition, for the first time, we're going to give you an estimate of how many hours you've saved in the last year. And you're probably wondering how we kind of got to that number. So the number, what we're doing is we're estimating it takes at least 1 minute for you to do an individual step in these workflows. So about 1 minute per action. So the amount of workflows that you run and the amount of steps that you've configured, and then multiply that by 1 minute, and then you'll get to the amount of hours that you've saved in the last year. We think this is a great estimate to show all the work that you're doing within BetterCloud. The second part, and this is something that personally I've heard for so long. If you've been a customer of BetterCloud for a while and you've been an attendee of Altitude in the previous years, you may have remembered that I presented a BetterCloud scorecard in 2018 in Denver. This is a report that we've been delivering to our customers to really show them the value that BetterCloud is driving. One thing we heard when I presented to a couple of years ago is that you're really interested in understanding how do you stack up against your peers? And we hear you loud and clear. It's really helpful to know, am I an outlier? Am I tracking with my peers? And for the first time in this report, we're going to offer that functionality. We're going to give you that information. Now, you're probably wondering, okay, well, that sounds nice. How does my peer group, how's it defined? So what we're going to do is we're going to take it through 2 lenses. The first lens is your size, really straightforward. How big you are, and we're going to only compare you to organizations the same size as you. The second lens that we're going to look at is how SaaS forward are you? Are you deploying many SaaS applications, and you're really, SaaS forward, and you're really advanced and modern in how you're thinking about the SaaS economy? Are you more middle of the road, or are you in the beginning of your journey? Those 3 buckets will help you compare yourselves to peers that are thinking about SaaS in the same way as you. So between those 2 lenses, this is going to provide a really nice kind of cross section of what you should be thinking about when you're looking at your peers and comparing the health of your instance in a variety of ways. We'll dig into this more in the next couple of slides. And then finally, our recommendations. David met with a lot of customers recently, and one thing he heard consistently was that you want more insights from BetterCloud. You want that white glove service. You want to hear, how can I improve the health of my IT kind of status across all these SaaS applications? So we heard you again, and we're here to help you, through this report and through anything else. But in this report, we're going to start providing customized recommendations about what you can do within BetterCloud, within your SaaS environment, to actually take advantage of additional features, to increase time savings, all these different things. So you should be prepared to get customized recommendations across the different use cases to see what you can do better. And in this instance, it's add the create user action in Microsoft 365. Now, we just talked about onboarding. I'm not going to spend too much time on this slide, but this is exactly the same thing. You're going to get all the same metrics for movers or midlife cycle. The one thing I'll say about midlife cycle is, personally, I feel like it is undervalued outside the IT administrator world, because I have looked through many, many workflows of our customers, and I am amazed with how many unique midlife cycle or mover workflows that we have. So, if you're taking advantage of this feature and this functionality, that's amazing. But if you aren't, I highly recommend taking a look at this, looking at what your peers are doing, and talking to your CSM to see how you can take advantage of this functionality. Awesome. And the last use case that we're going to dive into is offboarding. Offboarding is one of the biggest use cases for our customers. I'm going to do a quick plug of the state of the SaaSOps report. Shout out to the BetterCloud marketing team for putting out amazing content. If you haven't already read the report, I highly recommend you do that. There's some amazing insights about what your peers are dealing with on a day-to-day basis and how you should be thinking about the future of IT and SaaS. But one thing that really stood out to me when I was reading it was that 37% of IT admins had an ex-employee not offboarded within 24 hours. And whenever I read that, I really thought about how amazing BetterCloud makes it so that you can stitch together all these actions, having workflows that are 10, 15, 20. I've seen a workflow with 30 plus steps across 10 SaaS applications. People are really leveraging the scale and the reliability of BetterCloud to actually get these complex offboarding workflows done. So yeah, I think offboarding here, again, you can use it to compare how you're doing with your peers, how much time you've saved, and really what can you do to make your offboarding workflows better. The internet and the SaaS world has made it very easy to share files without friction, and make it a public file, make it an external file. And you can imagine how sensitive data within these files has become very pervasive across the internet. And IT administrators and C-suites are very scared of making those files exposed to the wrong people. So in this next section, you're going to see 2 slides about how we actually tackle that and how we're giving you insight into that. But before we go, I want to talk about public files and external files. Public files are files that are shared with everyone. Anyone on the internet has access to those files, and external files are shared with a specific person. Now, in this view, we're going to have 2 views. The first one is your overall exposure. I've talked about public files. I've talked about external files. The one box here that is new is external files with personal email domains. That means a file shared with a gmail.com, a hotmail.com, a yahoo.com, an icloud.com. Those can be very scary, because why are we sharing, work files with personal email addresses? Those should be a red flag. Now, I want to dive into each individual section. Similar to the last one, you're going to be able to see exactly how you stack up. How many public files do you have? And for context, this is not an issue isolated to individual companies. We have 64 million public files exposed across all of our customers. We have 380 million external files exposed across all of our customers. For public files, though, and for all of them, you're going to be able to see, okay, how many do I have for myself? How do I compare against the previous quarter? And is that number increasing? Is it increasing exponentially? And also, how many do my peers have? We already talked about the peer set group. So it should be a really good indication of, again, people your size and thinking about SaaS in the same exact way. This is a great way to both get a gut check against yourself and your peers. Great. So the next one are sensitive files. And this is something I mentioned at the beginning of this section. Now, sensitive files, and again, this is not even something we're offering in the platform right now. We're going ahead and we're able to query the backend to get information about certain titles that might have keywords in them that indicate that they're very sensitive. For example, having password in the file, having payment in the file, having confidential in the file. These are words that if they're in the file name, they're likely going to be important files that shouldn't be shared publicly or externally. So here, for the first time, we're giving you the ability to actually cut your data in that way. Understand how many public and external files do I have exposed that have the word password in the name? How does that compare to last time? How many do my peers have? All of this is incredibly important information that you'll be able to see on a recurring basis. This is the best part about this report. It's going to be delivered to you every quarter. This is something that your CSMs and you can have a conversation about every single quarter, 4 times a year. This is amazing, and we really hope that you leverage this. And for the next section, I'm going to pass it over to Julia to talk about workflows.
Great. Thank you so much, Sean, for walking through that. And before we move to the next slide, I know I had some great takeaways from that. First, not only are we providing new ways of giving you value-based data, such as time savings for efficiency or risk scores for reducing your risk, but we're also giving you those recommendations to come back to the BetterCloud platform to take action right then and there. So now with that, I'm going to move us more to the operational section of this report, which is around workflows. Workflows is the main platform in BetterCloud that allows you to manage the ways that you do automation. Whether it's for managing users or reducing your risk through file security, we have this workflows platform that serves your needs. And with that, I'll jump into how we're going to be able to help you ensure that those automations stay on track and healthy. So first, this is an overview of how your workflows are actually running. First, we give you that wow number. This number at the top shows you how many actions you've executed from BetterCloud for all time. This can also serve as a proxy number if you want to think about how that equates to your time saving using the BetterCloud platform. Next, we actually go through a line graph to show you how your workflows are performing over time. We segment those by showing you how successful your workflows have run over 12 months, as well as looking into the ones that may be causing you some issues. We also go through and do an actions analysis. So that way you can get an overview of how performant the actions within those workflows are running. These actions are the actual executions that you're taking against your APIs in this automation process. We want to make sure that those stay performant, and we are here to talk you through any time that maybe you're running into any issues. We also look at the workflow level to see how many of your overall workflows are completing successfully and which ones may need some fine-tuning. Next, this is a very important slide. It's a summary overview that first gives you the top workflows that have run over the last 12 months. This can also serve as a proxy to see how you're spending or how you would be spending the majority of your time if you were to complete these workflows manually. It'll start off with, let's say, onboarding as being your #1 workflow run. That should also equate back to what your business is up to. Have you been onboarding that many employees? Next, if you look at the workflows labeled section, this also merits a lot of time because the entire user section is powered off of how your workflows are labeled. Again, we've gone through and used a proprietary algorithm to label these workflows by use case. So you'll see that we've equated certain workflows to onboarding or offboarding or managing users. If you feel like these need some fine tuning, of course, as a customer, please reach out to your customer success representative and we'll get that taken care of for you. You'll also lastly be able to see the total workflows that you've created. This is a great way to keep track of how many you're creating versus how many you're activating. Those workflows left in a draft state obviously can serve many purposes. Some of our customers use draft workflows as a backup system to keep track of versioning. Other of our customers may also use those to run workflows on demand instead of waiting on an event to trigger a workflow. However, we know that automation is really the king and queen of the ball. So we would love to see how we can continue bringing more and more of those workflows that you're creating from that draft to that activated state. And that's the report. I hope that you found this to be something that you can leverage as a customer or a potential customer of BetterCloud. We encourage you to, again, reach out to the team, and we'll be sending this out to you within the next few weeks if you are here. Now let's pivot into how this equates to the future of BetterCloud. Our journey with data is now just getting started. Again, as we talked about earlier, we've had this data for so long. However, we haven't turned that into actionable insights for you. If I were to have one takeaway other than this, how this new report is going to influence you and your business, it would be to know that BetterCloud is just now starting on this journey. This is the first footstep into a long journey ahead, and we're excited to take it with you. So the insights that you saw today in the SaaSOps benchmarking report are going to be one that not only we offer to you in this presentation format quarter over quarter, we're also going to be working on taking the most valuable insights that you deem into the platform. We're hoping that we can continue to embed this throughout the different experiences that you are already familiar with using BetterCloud today. So with that, again, our journey is just starting to take the SaaSOps report and move it directly into the BetterCloud platform. Again, I really appreciate you taking the time to meet with us today. We're so excited to hear your feedback and can't wait to chat with you in the community. I appreciate all of the insight that you've given us. If you're on this call today, I'm sure you've been influential throughout the process or will be as we move forward in this long journey. I appreciate your time and thank you for attending Altitude.